All right, let's talk about hiring in your business. This is something that I know can be really scary, and a lot of people don't know where to start. And because of that, they actually hire for the wrong thing, or they hire the wrong person for the job they need done, and they have a horrible experience, and you swear off hiring. Like, it's just easier if I'm going to do it myself, right? Or I don't have time to hire because I don't have time to train someone. And those are really the two biggest pain points that I see from people who know they need support in their business, but they haven't made that leap to hire someone to start outsourcing, anything like that. And this is really holding you back in your business for a lot of you. If you're a, solopreneur forever, I totally respect that, and that's totally something you can do. But you need to know when something's got to give, and then when you identify, all right, this isn't working long term, something needs to change. Identify, is hiring someone the thing that will solve my problems, right? So the first thing I really want to talk about today is figuring out when you're at the point of something's got to give, and is hiring the answer to that point, right? Obviously, you know that if you're to the point where you are working constantly, you feel indebted to your business, you don't feel supported by your business, right? You can't stop thinking about work. You're kind of just dreading it. Congratulations, you have made your business into a job. And that is not what we want, right? That's not the purpose of building your own business. If you wanted to do that, you could just go out and get a 9-to-5 job, have the healthcare, have the benefits, have the dedicated vacation time, and be done with it, right? The whole point of starting a business is doing something that you really enjoy and building a business that allows you to build the life that you want outside of your business. And if you are unable to live a life outside of your business, you don't have a business, you have a job, right? So if you are at that point, something's got to give, right? It's pretty easy to identify that part of it. Now, what I really like to look at when I have people coming to me for a digital strategy intensive or my coaching clients, and they're really asking, okay, I know something's got to change, but I just don't know what it is. Do I need to outsource? Who do I hire? What do I need, right? Can I get away with not outsourcing? All of these questions, right? How do I afford to outsource even if I wanted to? What I like to say, first of all, you know what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you, you need to be tracking your time, right? Because our memory, our thoughts are lying to us a lot of the time, right? So you think, oh, I really don't spend much time on that thing, right? But if you're tracking your time, you might see, oh, I'm spending more time on that thing than I think I am, right? Or, oh my God, I need to outsource for this because I'm spending so much of my time on it. But you're really not spending that much of your time on it. You just don't enjoy doing it, which is okay. But knowing how much time you're spending on things is so key, because it's going to make it 10 times easier to identify what you need to outsource and what you're really going to benefit from in terms of hiring. So if you haven't already, number one is start tracking your frickin' time, people. It's going to give you such a wealth of information. It's so worth it. The other thing is start documenting everything that you're doing. If you have a system around something, you need to start documenting that right now, because I don't care if you're going to outsource or if you're not, if you're going to hire someone or if you're not. If you don't have things documented, you are going to get to that place where you say, I don't have time. I need to hire because I don't have time, but I don't have time to hire because I don't have time to train. And it's a rock and a hard place, and something's got to give at that point, right? So start documenting all of your processes now, whether that's in a Google Doc, whether that's just recording videos of you walking through how you do things. The next time you're going to go out and do something, schedule a social media post, right? Create a flyer, whatever. Walk through that process and document it. Not only is that going to allow whoever you hire, if you hire, to be able to more easily be trained and train themselves, but even if you don't hire for that thing, you can kind of look at it from a more objective view and say, can we tighten this process up, right? Is there any way we can systematize this? Because that's the next question. After you start tracking your time and after you've started to document everything, you're then going to look at what you're doing, every task that you're doing, and you're going to think about, can this be systematized or a better process set up around it? Can this be automated? Can this be outsourced? And it doesn't matter if you're not ready to outsource right now. You want to go through all of your tasks and identify which of those 3 things it is, or it could be more than one of those things. Maybe you need to set up a better system and process around it and outsource it, right? That is what you need to do first, because you're gonna find that there's some things that if you just set up a system and process around it, it's actually gonna go from something that takes you 3 hours to take you 1 hour, right? Can you template something out? Can you start to duplicate it and use what you've already done each time, right? Instead of starting from scratch every time. Now that thing that used to take you 3 hours, and you know that because you're tracking your time, is now only taking you 1 hour. Great, you just freed up 2 hours of your time per week. Congratulations, right? Next, you're gonna look at, if this thing can be automated, how could that happen, right? Are there tools that we could use to automate this thing, right? To cut down on that time. Those tools are often going to come with budget, but guess what? Paying to automate something 9 times out of 10 is going to be cheaper than outsourcing that thing. And then you're not reliant on a human being and managing a human being. So that's the next thing you're going to look at. Do we need to tighten up our system and process around this thing? Go through all of your tasks and look at that, / also have you documented that process? Next, can we automate this thing? Can we automate any part of this thing to make it faster? This new tool that's going to automate this process might cost a little bit of budget, but all of a sudden it's saving you 5 hours a week. Wow, that's a lot of time, right? How could you reallocate that time that you're now saving to go out and get more clients and increase your revenue? That will then pay for that tool and then some, right? Then you're going to look at, okay, I'm happy with the system and process around this thing. It can't be automated with a tool. Should we outsource here, right? And what I often look at when I'm asking the question of should we outsource is, do I hate doing this thing? Or if I hire out for this thing, is it going to save me a significant amount of time, enough so that I can go out and do lead generation and focus on revenue generating activity? Because that's the other key here. When you are starting to outsource, so many people just outsource whatever they think they don't want to do or whatever they think they should outsource without thinking about, is this a revenue generating activity that I'm outsourcing? If it's not, am I reallocating my newfound time to focus on revenue generating activity? Because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is you're going to hire someone and you're going to immediately start to feel like, okay, I hired this person, so now my expenses are higher. I have to pay this person, but the revenue isn't going up. So now my profit margins are too tight, and now we're not making enough money. And you put unrealistic expectations on that new person. It's not their fault. You might have hired them for something that's not a revenue generating activity. It's on you as the business owner to go out and focus on those revenue generating activities with your newfound time. Now you might say, I just want to work less in my business, so I'm going to go ahead and outsource these things, but they're not going to be revenue generating activities. Okay, so you might split the difference. I'm saving 4 hours a week by hiring this person, so I'm going to take 3 of those hours and not work. Now I'm working 3 hours less per week, and 1 of those hours is going to be dedicated to revenue generating activities so that we can not only pay for that person, but also increase the revenue, right? These are all things that people don't think about. So you don't know, should I hire? Should I not hire? What should I hire for? And these are all things that you need to look at in your business before you pull the trigger on hiring, but they're going to set you up for success later after you hire, right? And there are other things that we're going to talk about next in terms of how do we hire, right? Who do we look for? What do we do that? Where do we find them? What do we ask them, right? So we're going to talk about that next. But these are really the key questions you need to look at in your business as a business owner, with the business strategy. Okay, so check out the next video for the next part.